Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to break down a highly actionable blueprint to help you transition from total financial chaos to absolute financial freedom. Look, if you've ever felt like you're working incredibly hard, but somehow not actually getting anywhere, trust me, you are not alone. So today, we're taking a really fascinating look at the exact daily behaviors that separate the stressed and struggling from the secure and wealthy. We're moving way past the surface level numbers to look at the actual daily choices that build lasting wealth. Let's dive in. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. Escaping the stress loop. 2. Plugging the cash leaks. 3. Building your financial fortress. 4. The compound wealth engine. And finally, 5. The wealth coach prompt. All right, section 1. Escaping the stress loop and rewiring your money mindset. Our journey begins right here, by identifying the profound psychological difference between an anxious, debt-laden individual and a secure, asset-heavy individual. You see, before you can change your bank account, you absolutely have to change the lens through which you view every single dollar you earn. It's a complete paradigm shift. Wealth isn't about buying things, it's about buying your time. The stressed individual sees a paycheck and immediately thinks about what material goods they can consume today. But the wealthy individual, they look at that exact same money and they see options, they see freedom, and they see the ability to control their own calendar down the line. It's moving from temporary dopamine to long-term autonomy. Honestly, wealthy habits are really just predictable systems. Instead of emotional impulse buying, the wealthy implement a strict 48-hour cooling rule to just let that dopamine wear off. And instead of hiding from credit card statements in fear, which we've all done, they do weekly account reviews. And my personal favorite, they embrace stealth wealth, meaning they live comfortably but look ordinary, rather than going absolutely broke trying to look rich for people they don't even know. So once you've rewired your mindset, you got to ask yourself this one critical question before you can architect a proper budget. Where is your money actually going? It sounds simple, right? But if you don't know the exact answer to this, you are flying completely blind. Awareness is literally the first mandatory step of financial architecture. Moving right along to section 2, plugging the cash leaks and moving from clueless to architect. Okay, this is where we actually stop the bleeding. We're moving from a totally clueless state of allocation into becoming the active architect of our financial lives. And let me clear up a massive misconception right now. A budget is not a restrictive prison. Not at all. It's actually a blueprint that gives you permission to spend guilt-free once every single dollar is assigned a specific job. Relying on mental math and just tossing everything into one chaotic checking account is a recipe for disaster. Instead, you want to utilize a zero-based budget, physically segregating your money into dedicated accounts for your bills, your investments, and your fun. Listen, if you don't track your money, it's just going to quietly bleed out. We're talking about convenience premiums, aimless shopping, and that fourth streaming service you completely forgot to cancel. These are the silent killers of wealth. The wealthy ruthlessly audit their statements every month to cut unused services. They shop intentionally with strict checklists, and they plan ahead to avoid getting hammered by massive daily convenience fees from things like delivery apps. $5. We often ignore these tiny daily purchases, right? We think a $5 coffee or a quick impulse buy doesn't really matter. But recognizing that microtransactions compound into massive yearly leaks is absolutely essential for optimizing your value. To put that into perspective, $5 a day turns into over $1,800 a year. That is serious capital that could be actively working for you in the market instead of just disappearing into thin air. You have to make this shift from financing depreciating luxuries to investing in durable goods that actually maximize your value per use. Notice the emphasis on utility here. The wealthy don't upgrade their phones just because a shiny new model drops. They use assets until the utility is literally gone. They don't buy cheap things that constantly break either. They invest in lasting quality, and they absolutely never use high-interest credit to finance things that lose value. Keeping your overhead incredibly low, it's a superpower, for sure. Which brings us to section 3, building your financial fortress and securing your base. Now that the leaks are plugged, we transition from living on a tightrope to constructing an impenetrable financial fortress. This is exactly how you ensure that a flat tire or an unexpected medical bill doesn't send you spiraling right back into debt. Saving isn't a punishment, guys. It is literally you buying your own future peace of mind. The stressed individual feels deprived when they save, like they're missing out on today's fun. But the secure individual, they feel empowered because they know they're buying a shield against the unpredictable chaos of life. The architecture of this fortress is super simple. You self-insure against life's emergencies by building a 3 to 6 month reserve. But you don't just keep this sitting in a basic checking account where it earns absolutely nothing. No, you park it in a high-yield savings account. in HYSA, so it actually grows and beats inflation. And you strictly isolate it, keeping it totally out of sight so you aren't tempted to dip into it for a weekend vacation. It is a dedicated, untouchable shield. Here's the thing. The wealthy do not rely on motivation to save. They rely on systems to ensure they pay themselves first the very morning they get paid. If you wait until the end of the month to save what's left over, you're usually going to find that the answer is zero. By automating your savings, you remove human error and emotion from the equation entirely. Set it, forget it, and let it build.
All right, Section 4, the Compound Wealth Engine. This is about accelerating your growth.
Now we flip from playing defense to aggressively playing offense. You must crush your liabilities before you can efficiently build real wealth. As long as you are paying minimums and carrying a high-interest consumer debt, you are swimming with a massive weight tied around your ankles. Whether you use the snowball method and pay off your smallest balances first, or the avalanche method to tackle your highest interest rates first, the goal is exactly the same. The wealthy permanently blacklist bad consumer debt. Sure, they use credit cards for rewards and protection, but they pay that balance off to zero every single month. No exceptions. You know, the rich actually embrace the quiet, boring, and highly predictable nature of compounding instead of chasing whatever internet hype is trending today. They don't try to time the market. They use dollar cost averaging. Whether the market is up, down, or sideways, they are buying in consistently on a set schedule. This takes human emotion completely out of investing and leverages the sheer mathematical power of time. By diversifying widely and minimizing fees in tax-advantaged accounts, you protect your wealth. When the market drops, the stressed mind panics and sells. But the wealthy mind, they get excited because assets are suddenly on sale. It's a massive discount shopping spree. They avoid the wild risk of picking single stocks by choosing low-cost indexed funds that just track the whole market. And most importantly, they never, ever stop learning. Their financial education doesn't just end because they hit a comfortable salary.
Finally, Section 5, the Wealth Coach Prompt, and building your personalized action plan.
We've covered a ton of ground today, but look, information without application is just entertainment. It is time to actually put this into practice. You can take this exact prompt and use it with any AI tool to generate your own fully customized financial plan. By instructing it to act as an elite wealth coach, you force a much deeper analysis of the emotional triggers behind your spending, and you maintain that powerful contrast between the stress state and the wealthy state we've been talking about. Why does this prompt work so well? Well, it demands a focus on psychology and actual actionable behavior, forcing the output to look way past surface-level numbers. It helps you directly apply these 50 habits to your own unique lifestyle and circumstances. It really is the perfect bridge to take you from a beginner's understanding to executing your finances like a total pro. So the blueprint is right here in your hands, but you're the only one who can choose to make that psychological shift that changes everything. Wealth isn't just reserved for the lucky or the crazy higher earners. It is a very predictable result of the exact daily habits we've explored today. So which path are you going to choose? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I challenge you to take that first step toward building your own financial fortress today.